Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jessica Rector. Beauty, it impacts everyone's life in some form at one time in their life or another. Whether you're a teenager dealing with peer pressure and trying to fit in, or an adult paying too much attention to what the media says. Today we're talking about beauty and why it's so important, what's actually the definition of beauty. Please welcome my guest today, Erin Johnson. Thanks for joining us today. Now, before we get started, I'm actually going to read a submission that you wrote to me, a little bit about it, so people can kind of know where you're coming from and why you want to talk about beauty. It starts off by saying, good morning, afternoon, evening, Jessica. Let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Erin Johnson, also known as CJ. So if I call you CJ throughout, that's why, because you put CJ in the submission. 25-year-old African-American from Cleveland, Ohio. You're eager to reply to the posting because beauty has become a top priority in my life. And because I'm a man, this emphasis has been a point of contention for some conservative Californians that I encounter. But I have not and will not relent, because my opinion of myself is much more important than others' opinions of me, which I think is very important. This was the first lesson I learned when I first started to learn about beauty. The way I feel is more important than the way I look. If I feel beautiful, then I am beautiful. And I don't mean that as some motivational cliche. My self-perception is truly my reality. If everyone that I come into contact with says that I'm a hideous mess, but I look in the mirror and see a beautiful creation, then I am a beautiful creation. And because I'm experiencing the world through my eyes. It's not, however, the makeup that makes me beautiful. And although I do believe in natural beauty and inner beauty, those aren't the factors that make me feel beautiful. I feel beautiful when I devote my energy to myself. I have friends who needed to be complimented by others in order to feel beautiful. I think that's natural. However, I try not to take compliments to heart. If I get in the habit of receiving others' positive input, I will naturally take the negative comments to heart as well. But anyway, I found that I can confirm and affirm my own beauty. I take as much time as necessary for pampering, styling, and self-decoration. I give myself the celebrity treatment because I am a celebrity. And celebrity has nothing to do with fame, but that's another conversation. And when I'm done, voila, I'm ready for my close-up. I think the American concept of beauty has caused more harm than good. As a culture, we have rejected conventional wisdom, quote-unquote, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and allowed the media to give us a precise definition of beauty. And naturally, the media's definition of beauty is met only by a minute segment of our society, and thus begins the quest to obtain the unattainable. Hello, psychological and eating disorders. Hello, depression. Hello, dangerous surgical practices. Jessica, I salute your discussion on the topic of beauty. This conversation needs to take place more frequently and more pervasively. The women and men of America need to be educated and empowered to stand up and proclaim the beauty that was stolen from us. The truth is, and then you can, do you remember your quote at the end? God made everything beautiful in itself and in its time. And where's that from? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Ecclesiastes 3.
Oh. You can tell I've never read the Bible. Anyways, with that being said, I was like, ooh, how do you pronounce that? So tell me why you decided to write this, and basically what motivated you in your actual writing of it.
Well, like I said, beauty has been a top priority in my life just recently. It's not a lifelong thing. It's just right. At this point in my life, I think a lot about just beauty and focusing energies on myself and trying to make myself or feel beautiful. Right. It didn't happen last year or the year before, but just right now, it's very important. So when I saw your posting, I had to reply to it.
And so how does it impact your life now? Why has it become a top priority?
Why has it become? I mean, I can't explain, what caused my focus on beauty. I think it's just a general. I'm at a point in my life where freedom is just very, very important. That's probably really the top priority, and beauty just kind of comes along with that. As a man, I think right. A lot of females, they feel like pressured or like it's natural for them to have to wear makeup and do things, and I mean, I guess that's fine if that's what you want to do, but there are people that don't want to wear makeup, and there are men that do want to wear makeup. And for example, last night on American Idol, one of the contestants had eyeliner on.
Yes, Constantine.
Constantine. And I heard on the radio today the announcer saying, Constantine had on eyeliner last night. He's just getting too freaky for me. And I was just like, wow, it's just eyeliner,
Yeah. Well, and it's also for the dramatic look, and it played along with his song.
Right.
So did they not take that into consideration when they were thinking that it was for that effect?
It's a typical opinion, you know, just putting people in boxes and categories and
well,
restricting.
and being closed-minded.
Yeah, and it's something that we have to deal with in our culture. And
so you say in what you wrote that you don't take positive compliments to heart. And why is that? And then you said something about the negative, because then you'll take the negative ones as well.
Yeah,
How do you think that affects you if you were to take the positive ones to heart?
I'm going to say I try not to. I mean, it obviously it's not a perfect theory, but you know,
nothing in life is.
Right.
Okay.
You know,
right.
Someone tells me, "Oh, you look so cute today," and here's a quick story. I was out at the club one time, and the owner of the club looked at me. I was very decked out. And he's just like, "Whoa, who dressed you today?" And I said, "I dressed me," you know. And he's like, "Yeah, you know, you look good." I said, "I know I look good." You know, he got so upset and offended, and he didn't want to talk to me. He hasn't really talked to me since, because he just thought that my head and ego was so overboard that he didn't want to give me the time of the day. And I'm just
But
like,
don't you think that when people go out to a club or to a restaurant, don't you think that they think they look good? I mean, I think people think that. I mean, you're not going to go to a club thinking, "Oh, I just woke up and I'm in my pajamas." I mean, people get dressed up and, you know, get themselves ready to go out like that.
right, but you don't want to hear someone else say that they look good.
Yeah, I look good.
Right, and I don't agree with that. I think you have to be your number one fan, you know. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Well, that's true. If you don't praise yourself and believe in yourself and all that, nobody else is going to either.
Absolutely.
But you're right. People tend to think that if you say, "Yeah, I look good," that you're conceited or arrogant or egotistical or something.
I just think that was constructed just to bring people down. You know, if I feel insecure and Johnny over here is super secure, I want to bring Johnny down. And so conceited is a word that has been used, you know, to do that. And I grew up with that mentality. You know, you're not supposed to praise yourself or pat yourself on the back. I'm done with that.
Why is that?
Because it makes me feel good, you know, to be my number one fan. It really makes me feel good about myself.
Well, and like you said in here that, what did you say? Something about, you know, if you feel good, then you're beautiful, and you're trying to, you know, other people's opinion doesn't matter. If you look in the mirror and see yourself as beautiful, then you are. If more people had that mentality, there wouldn't be so many people with depression and low self-esteem and insecurities.
And my self-confidence doesn't necessarily mean I'm putting others down. They're completely separate. And in fact, the fact that I love myself the way that I do helps me to love others in that same way.
But the thing is like you said, a lot of people don't look at it that way. A lot of people think it's a competition. Only one of us can look good. We both can't look good. But do you know what I mean? I mean, it's like if two attractive women or men walk into a place, well, one has to be more attractive than the other. One has to be better than the other.
Right.
It's all about competition. There's not enough room in the world for both of us, kind of thing. And
maybe that even stems from insecurity. You know, you need to constantly compare yourself to others. And there's another lesson I learned, and I go to LA Fitness a lot, and you know, when I'm in the gym and there's all these guys walking, no, I'm not going in that direction with I'm just saying, you know, if I compare myself to these guys walking around with big muscles, and then I look in the mirror, I feel bad about myself, and I'm like, wow, I need to put on a few pounds. I'm really skinny. But then if I ignore everyone else and I look in the mirror and just look at myself, I'm like, wow, who is that? You know, who is that? You know.
But you can't. But you also can't compare yourself to other people, even in situations like that, because your body structure is different, your stature, your muscles, your build. I mean, all that's different. So you can't sit there and say, oh, well, I don't look as good as them, because you're not on the same playing ground to begin with.
But it happens. You know, it was just a natural thing to compare, and I learned at that moment, can never ever compare myself to someone else.
So what do you define as beauty? Or what defines beauty for you?